Hello friends, how are you? Hope you are doing well. So today we will start a discussion about environmental impact assessments, EIA. And it's a very important component of construction environmental management. And we will learn about environmental impact assessments related to one case study we will take for building constructions. Building construction. Okay. We'll see certain major activities for building construction and what can be the associated environmental impacts and their control measures. Okay, so let us start the environmental impact and their control measures for these major activities. So first activity, let's say we talk about site clearing and preparations. Okay, in this activity, particularly what can be the environmental impacts? We can talk about habitat destruction, soil erosion, which can occur leading to increased sedimentation in the water bodies. Also, the dust emissions may impact air quality, okay, and also affecting nearby communities. Then, what can be the control measures for this impact? Control measure can be, we can say, limit the area which is cleared, use silt fences, and implement dust suppression techniques such as watering the sites. Okay, dust suppression system. Okay, dust suppression. Then we talk about the next activity, which is excavation and grading. Okay, what can be the environmental impact for this activity? Soil erosion can happen and also potential groundwater contamination may arise. Disturbance can disrupt local ecosystem and also can lead to the increased dust emissions, okay, which will impair the air quality. Then what can be the possible control measures? We can talk about employing erosion control methods such as sediment traps and monitoring the dust with regular water spraying. Okay. Then third activity comes foundation works. In this, what can be the impact? We can talk about the noise and vibration which can disturb nearby residents and communities. Even we can say potential groundwater contamination from spills which poses risks, and soil compaction may also affect local vegetation. Okay, local vegetation also can be impacted. So we talked about noise, vibration, okay, also maybe the spills can lead to the contamination, and soil compaction may lead to vegetation destruction. Okay, vegetation impacts. Then what can be the controls? Like we can say use noise barriers and schedule work during off-peak hours, and also implement spill containment measures to protect the groundwater. Spill containments. Okay. The next activity comes concrete mixing and pouring. Concrete, I am taking some major activities, and pouring. So what can be the associated environmental impacts? We can talk about air pollution from dust and emission which can degrade the air quality. Also significant water uses and runoff may harm local ecosystem. So what we considered here: air pollution from dust and emissions, significant water uses, and also the runoffs. Then what can be the control? We can talk about utilizing ready mix concrete to minimize on-site mixing, and also implement wastewater recycling system. Recycling system. Okay. Then we say next activity, we take example of building frame construction. Okay. Now what can be the associated environmental impacts? This activity generates noise and waste which can disrupt the local community, and also improper waste disposal may lead to hazardous materials contaminating the environment. So in this environmental impact, we considered here in this activity about noise, waste which can disrupt the community, also the waste disposal methodology. If it is improper, which can lead to some sort of contamination to the environment. Then we talk about the control measures. Control measures what can be? Like we need to adopt a waste management plan focusing on recycling and uses noise reduction equipment to minimize disturbances. Okay, so waste management plan. Then next activity comes installation of utilities. Now what can be the environmental impact associated with this? We can talk about the soil compaction and habitat destructions can occur, impacting the local wildlife. Okay, also excavation may pose or expose contaminated soils, or it can disrupt the groundwater flow also. Then we use certain control measures. What can be the possible control measures? Like use trenchless technology where feasible and monitor soil and water quality throughout the installation process. Actually, trenchless technology. Okay, then next is the activity about roofing and insulation. So what is the environmental impact associated with this? There will be a waste generation from old materials and chemical emissions which can impact air quality. Also, noise pollution during installation may disturb nearby residents. So we talk about the waste. Okay, we talk about the air pollution, we talk about the noise also. And then what can be the controls? We need to prioritize recyclable materials uses, and use low VOC products, volatile organic compound, low VOC products. Okay, and also we need to schedule work to minimize the noise impact during off-peak hours. Okay, the next is activity about interior finishing. So what can be the environmental impacts? It will be like VOC emissions can reduce indoor air quality, impacting workers' health, and also waste generation, which may include hazardous material if not managed properly. Okay, so VOC emissions. Okay, also waste. Then what can be the control? Again, we can say use low VOC material and implement a waste management plan. Also emphasizing recycling and safe disposal practices, which also come under waste management. Okay, then next activity is we can say landscaping, where we can say the environmental impacts can be like soil disturbance and erosion which can occur and also affecting local ecosystem, Chemical treatments can contaminate soil and water resources. So soil disturbance plus soil contamination also. Then what can be the controls? Use native plants to minimize disruption. Also, we can implement erosion control methodologies and adopting integrated pest management to reduce the chemical uses. Integrated pest management. Okay. Now the next activity is site cleanup. Site cleanup. What are the environmental impacts? Significant waste will be generated, which can lead to pollution if not managed. Also, disturbance of remaining vegetation may contribute to the erosion actually. Okay, so waste will be generated. Also, we can say disturbance of remaining vegetations. Then what can be the controls associated with this environmental impact? We can talk about implementing waste management plan, emphasizing recycling and proper disposal of hazardous material during the cleanup. The next activity is about paving and surface treatment. What can be the environmental impacts? We can talk about runoffs, increased runoffs, which can lead to water pollution, and also habitat alterations can affect local wildlife. Okay. Now, what can be the controls? Using permeable paving materials and implement effective stormwater management system to minimize the runoffs. Minimize runoff. Okay. Then next we are talking about the activity called stormwater management system. Stormwater management. Okay. What can be the environmental impacts? Poor design, which can lead to the flooding and water quality issues, also impacting local waterways and ecosystem. Okay. Then we considered here poor design aspects, and then the controls can be design system to capture and treat runoff effectively, also ensuring compliance with the local regulations. Compliance with local regulations. Okay. Next activity is demolition of existing structures. Let's see. Demolition activities. In this, dust, noise, waste generation can disturb the communities. Also, contaminants may be released from older structures and posing environmental risk. Now, then what can be the controls? Employing controlled demolition techniques, using dust suppression methods and recyclable material wherever possible. Then next activity is transport and delivery of materials. Transport and material delivery. Okay. In this, we can say the traffic congestion, increased emissions, also negatively impacting air quality. So these can be the environmental impacts. Then what can be the controls? We schedule deliveries during off-peak hours and also optimizing transport routes to reduce environmental impacts. Okay. Then next activity we say here, that is electrical works. Okay. What can be the environmental impacts? Okay. The waste generation can occur from old materials. Improper disposal may lead to the contaminations. Okay. Then controls can be like establish recycling programs for electrical components. That can be the control. Okay. Then we talk about the HVAC installation. In the HVAC installation, there can be noise pollution. We can say increased energy consumptions and also affecting local residents in the environment. So what can be the controls? Controls can be like using energy efficient systems and conducting regular maintenance to minimize noise and environmental impacts. Next activity is plumbing installations. Plumbing installations. Okay, in this, environmental impacts are water uses which may increase, and there is a potential for contamination if materials are not handled properly. And also in the controls, we can say implement water efficient fixtures and use proper disposal of the waste material during installation. Next activity is fire safety measures installation. Okay, what can be the environmental impact? Waste generation, compliance issues can arise if materials are not disposed. Then what we need to do? Follow regulations and recycle material used in fire safety installations to minimize the waste. Next activity is final inspection, okay, and commissioning. Students, I am telling you in very brief, okay, so that you can understand what major activity and what can be associated environmental impacts and control. Like in the final inspection, we can see minor disturbances and waste generation which can impact the surrounding area. And then what can be the controls? Like we can say cleanup programs, organizing thorough cleanup post inspection, and ensure recycling practices are following to reduce waste. Okay, then next activity is project handover. In this, we can say ongoing impacts from occupancy can affect local infrastructure and resources. So what we need to do, the best possible thing is educate occupants on sustainable practices and provide maintenance guidance to minimize the environmental impacts. Okay, so you have seen in this discussion a clear and concise overview of the major construction activities, their environmental impacts, and effective control measures. Thank you very much, friends. It will be helpful for you for your site related environmental impact assessments and their implementation. Thank you.